A few years ago, a video from a Billy Graham crusade went viral again on social media. Thousands of people were shown streaming down from the stadium seats, tears in their eyes, responding to the famous altar call, "Just believe in Jesus, and you will be saved." It was powerful. Millions of people have been moved by moments like that. The idea that all you need is faith, simple faith in Christ, and instantly, your eternal destiny is secured. But here's the tension. If faith alone is enough, then why does the Bible also say things like, "Faith without works is dead"? James 2 verse 26. Why does Jesus himself say in Matthew 25 that at the last judgment, people will be separated based on whether they fed the hungry, clothed the naked, and visited the sick? That's the conflict. On one side, faith alone saves. On the other side, your works matter for salvation. So, which is it? I remember talking with a Protestant friend of mine about this exact issue. He said, "You Catholics make salvation sound so complicated. Why add works? Isn't Jesus' sacrifice enough?" And you know what? That question hit me. Because yes, Jesus' sacrifice is enough. The Catholic Church never denies that we are saved by grace, through faith, because of Christ alone. But, and this is important, grace is not just a legal stamp saying you're saved. Grace is living. It transforms us. It makes us new. Therefore, if grace is real in your life, it will show in how you live, in your actions, in your works. Let's go back to the Bible. St. Paul says in Ephesians 2 verses 8 to 9, "By grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." That sounds very clear. Salvation is a gift. But then, just 2 verses later, Paul adds, "We are created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So Paul is not against works. He is against works that try to earn salvation on their own, apart from God's grace. Therefore, Paul and James are not contradicting each other. Paul says you can't save yourself by works apart from grace. James says if you claim faith but live without love, then your faith is fake. Here's another real moment that shook things up. In 2006, Pope Benedict XVI said something that made headlines. Luther's phrase, "Faith alone is true," if it is not opposed to faith in charity, in love. Many people were shocked. A pope saying faith alone can be true? But what he meant was this: faith and works aren't enemies. True faith is always alive, and therefore it always expresses itself in works of love. Let's be real. If salvation were only about saying you believe, then Christianity would be just lip service. You could live selfishly, never care for the poor, ignore your neighbor, and still claim heaven just because you said a prayer once. But Jesus never preached a cheap grace. He preached a costly grace. He said, "Take up your cross and follow me." That's not just belief, that's action. Therefore, the Catholic balance is this: salvation begins with God's grace. You can't earn it. We receive it through faith, trusting in Christ. But if that faith is real, it will produce works of love. Works don't replace grace. They prove grace is alive in you. So maybe the real question is not faith or works, but is my faith alive? If you say you believe in Christ, but your life shows no love, no mercy, no sacrifice, then maybe it's time to ask, is that faith real? Therefore, the Catholic Church invites us to hold on to grace like a drowning person holds onto a lifeboat, to believe in Jesus with all our heart, and to let that faith overflow into works of love, feeding the hungry, forgiving enemies, caring for the least. Because in the end, salvation is not a courtroom stamp. It's a relationship with Christ that transforms your life. A faith that works through love, that's the shocking truth.